morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Mark Fox Jr. This is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything? You dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. So, as of late, I've been slowing down just a tad bit on posting because I want to start doing these interviews. I have some really, really cool people in my life, people that you may know, people that you may not know. But these are really, really cool people in my life. They've all had an impact in my life. I've watched them from afar, and I've just watched the way they move in their careers, in life in general. Young people, people who are older than me, people who are younger than me, people who are the same age as me. And I've just been really fascinated by their walk. And so I just wanted to kind of take the content away from what I do and just kind of engage in some conversations with some people that I respect and people that I think have interesting stories. And I wanted to start doing a little bit more storytelling and looking at success through the lens of other people and taking their words and applying them to my concepts. You know, as I said before, I was having this conversation about purpose, and this young girl, she's younger than I am. She says she was talking about purpose and genius level talent, and she was talking about all the things that I talk about: genius level, God ordained purpose, genius level talent, passion, being resilient, perspective, things of that nature. But she had they were the same definitions, but they were worded differently, right? And it was so awesome and refreshing to kind of be given the new spin or these concepts and having them been remixed, right? And I was like, man, you know, I there's so many of my friends who who live by the same laws, right? Who live by the same principles, but they just have tweaked them a little bit. And I think that tweak is enough to be, it makes it interesting. It makes it fresh. And it's something that for me doesn't get old. So what I want to do is spend some more time talking to those people and talking to those people and sharing their narratives and sharing their stories and asking them the questions. In hopes that I can create some different content, some more content, and keep hopefully making the car ride a little bit more impactful, making the workout a little bit more impactful. Yeah, you're working out your body, but also working out your mind and your spirit as well. So I've been shying away. I said to myself, if I get back on this podcast, I better be interviewing somebody, right? So that's the goal. But today, I was contemplating on doing a podcast, and I said, you know what? I want to practice one of my next speeches on my podcast, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to practice it. I've been working on it, and I may have some glitches. I may stutter and stumble a little bit, but I still just want to kind of, for what it's worth, bring you into my creative process of how I go about doing my work. And I'm not going to repeat myself again and again and again like I normally would, but just want to speak through my concepts. I want to say the speech and then speak through my concepts or explain my concepts when I feel the need to, or just kind of basically a conversation. No, it's not a conversation. Just let you into my creative process, but then at some point have some dialogue that explains where I'm coming from, and hopefully it's inspirational, it's motivational, it's something to help you out if you are a speaker. But even if you just need a pick me up, hopefully it serves its purpose in that way as well. So I'm upstairs. I got the podcast on my tripod. It's on the kitchen table. And so Simon is over here playing with his toys. So I might take a stop. I may take a break every now and then to check up on him. But hopefully I can get through this speech that's supposed to be only 15 to 18 minutes long. So once I'm done, I'm done. And then, just kind of take it from there. So here we go. What I want to talk about was this notion of a highlight reel. And this notion that there's a highlight reel that flashes before our eyes every time we engage in any type of activity, especially the activities that are the most meaningful, because they're rigorous, they're challenging. The odds are typically stacked against us, and there's a highlight reel that flashes before our eyes that dictates our level of engagement. And so I wanted to talk about that concept, but I want to give the listeners 4 ways to make sure that they are always in attack mode. And I don't have I do. So I have my notebook in front of me, which I'm going to do a little bit of cheating to make sure that I don't miss those points of contact. Now I only have 3 in front of me, but I said I was going to do 4, but I only have 3 in front of me, so I'll just stick with that. So I'll go. So this is how I'm going to start it, and this is how I'm going to finish it as well. I enjoyed watching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, not because of their shoe careers. Okay, Simon's calling me. Let me push you on pause and we'll come right back. Okay, so I'm back. So my app doesn't allow me to edit. I can pause, but I can't edit. So I'm starting my speech, and then Simon decides that he wants more apples. So I stopped, paused it, and now we'll get back to it. So I'll start over. I always enjoy watching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, not because of their shoes, but because of the narrative of their careers. When you watch Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant come into the league, you see these brash, confident, cocky, uber athletic players expressing themselves athletically, right? And over the course of their career, you see them refine their skills. They improve their footwork, they improve their shot selection, and they become more efficient, more polished in their approach to scoring points. And then you start to see that their productivity starts to generate individual accolades, so on and so forth. And then they start to win. They start to understand how to win, how to close games, and how to control the pace of a game. And then you see them making the playoffs, and then you see their ability and their performance start to impact longer runs in the playoffs. And then they hit this unmovable force. And that unmovable force might be better teams, better veterans, championship caliber pedigree. They might be running into the Utah Jazz on the West Coast, or they might be running into the Detroit Motor City Pistons on the East Coast. But through that process, they keep attacking, and then eventually they make the breakthrough and they reach the mountaintop, right? And if you ever want to look at their narrative, you can go on YouTube and find a highlight reel that will basically narrate this rise from being younger players to being older players to eventually reaching the mountaintop and becoming the players that we now hold in such high regard. And so I asked you this question: what's on your highlight reel? What's on your highlight reel? See, every time that we engage in intense activity that is full of rigor, that is full of resistance, that is full of challenges, our highlight reel flashes before our eyes, right? And all depending on the nature and the narrative of that highlight reel, that will dictate our level of engagement, right? So there are 3 levels of engagement, or there's 3 classic levels of engagement, or 3 highlight reels that we typically see. Now, there's a lot of different variations of a highlight reel, right? But these are the 3 highlight reels that we typically see. We see a highlight reel, frame after frame after frame, of an opportunity being presented, and we don't see anybody going to seize that opportunity. Or maybe we see someone else, not the person that is envisioning their highlight reel, but we may see someone else in that highlight reel that maybe they've convinced to do the work for them. Or maybe we see somebody else taking advantage of the opportunity, but you never see that person you never see the owner of that highlight reel actually taking advantage of the opportunity. Then we see another version where there's an opportunity present, and then we see that the owner of that highlight reel actually in those frames taking advantage of the opportunity, but then we see that person get hit hard. And then we see them quit. We see them forfeit. We see them not complete the mission. And then there's the last version, the last level of engagement, or the last highlight reel that we see. And this is when we see frame after frame of an opportunity being presented. We see the owner of that highlight reel engaging, right? Being active, taking advantage of the opportunity. And then we see that person get hit over and over and over again. But over and over and over again, that person stands up to the opposition or the opportunity, and they keep attacking. And then that highlight reel always ends in two ways. Either we see the person fail, right? Or take a L, which many will say it's a loss, but it could be a life learning lesson. But as they fail, they go down fighting with pride, with dignity. They are attacking to the bitter end. Or we see a situation where they fight, and they sneak a good punch, and all of a sudden they daze the opposition. Or they took full advantage of the opportunity in spite of being hit, in spite of being knocked down, and they eventually experience victory. And I ask you, what's in your highlight reel? Is it moments of you not stepping up to the opportunity at all? Is it moments of you stepping up to the opportunity and quitting midway through because it got too tough, it got too hard? Or do you see a highlight reel where you're constantly fighting, and even if you're losing, even if you're taking an L, even if you're failing, it's not because you didn't keep fighting. See, sometimes we think that the failure is bad, but see, I'd rather fail than quit. Quit means that I didn't even give myself a chance to fail or succeed. But if I fail, I can go to sleep knowing that if I gave it my all, I can go to sleep knowing that maybe the opposition was a little bit better than me. Maybe they're a little tougher than me. Maybe they were a little stronger than me. Maybe they're a little faster than me, quicker than me, so on and so forth. Maybe they just had an advantage. Maybe they're a little bit more wise than I am. Maybe I just wasn't prepared. I'm not ready. I wasn't ready for the big stage. But when I got on the big stage, I still competed. See, the thing, when we look at Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's career, we always see them in attack mode. When you look at Michael Jordan's highlight reel of his career, there's going to come a point where you're going to see him dunking over people. Then you're going to run into these guys in blue, red, and white jerseys. And you're going to see these guys knocking Michael Jordan out of the air. But you never saw them intimidating him from attacking. He was always in attack mode. They were knocking him out of the air because he was going to the hoop with intentions to finish strong or dunk on them. And they knocked him out of the air. So we always see Mike in attack mode in the presence of his failures. But it's because of those failures, because of he was in attack mode, because of those life learning lessons, he learned eventually how to beat them, and he learned how to become a champion that got to the final 6 times, got 6 MVPs, and never ever went to a game 7. We see Kobe Bryant as a rookie in the Western Conference Finals, or maybe not in the Western Conference Finals, but definitely in the Western Conference playoffs, going against Utah on the road, shooting air balls. Now, around this time, you got Nick Van Exel, who's an all-star. You got Shaquille O'Neal, who's an all-star. You got Eddie Jones, who's a fringe all-star. You got Eldon Campbell, who's a fringe all-star. You got all these great players around him, yet still, Kobe Bryant's the one taking the shot, and he's airballing. The shot isn't even getting to the hoop. But we see him attacking. And then we see how his career finishes, where he goes off for 60 points against the same team in which he was airballing shots on his way to his illustrious career. So I asked the question again, what's in your highlight reel? How can you make for certain that every time you look into your highlight reel, it will show you attacking the opposition, attacking the opportunity? I'll give you 3 tips on how to make sure that every time you look at your highlight reel, it's an inspiration. It empowers you to now attack the next opportunity. The first thing is compete with yourself and only with yourself. So many people think it's cool to get up and compete against the opposition. The highest form of competition is the competition with yourself. The opposition is a mere formality. In the theory of competition, they say there's a line in the sand and somebody's got to be on one side and somebody's got to be on the other, right? But in all actuality, competition is the competition with yourself. That's the highest form of competition. So your biggest and baddest opponent, you think that's your competition, when in all, it's really you. You are your competition. Are you better than you were yesterday? Can you push yourself more than you did yesterday? Can you be more disciplined than you were yesterday? Can you be disciplined and execute your craft, right? Your method, in spite of what the opposition is doing to you? Are you willing to compete with yourself on the highest level? Because if so, then the opposition is a mere formality. There's nothing they can do to stop you from getting from point A to point B and leaving with what you need or leaving with what you came for. Compete with yourself. People that wake up every single day looking to compete against the opposition, they set themselves up for failure. The next thing, attack with intention. There's two questions when I talk about intention. The first question is, how do you want to show up? If you want to be in attack mode from day one, every day you got to tell yourself, I'm in attack mode. I want to show up in attack mode. I want to make sure that every opportunity I get to attack an opportunity, I'm aggressive, I'm getting after it. In my aggression, I can still be mindful. I can still pause for a split second to look and see what are my options for advantage? Where's my leverage? Where are my advantages? How can I read the situation quickly, then attack? So even in my aggression, I can still be calculated, right? I can be as calculated as I am instinctive. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that when the opportunity presents itself, I'm coming after it. I'm not going to be conservative. I'm not going to be too cool for school. I'm not going to worry about my ego. I'm not going to worry about taking the L. I want to attack the opportunity. Even if attacking the opportunity means I got to sit back for a day or two and kind of think of a game plan, think of a scheme, think of a strategy. But I still want to be aggressive in my approach. I want to attack. So you want to show up in attack mode. Then there's, how do you think about what it is you're doing? I have to fall in love with what I'm doing. I got to fall in love with the process of attack mode. Because sometimes when I'm in attack mode, I'm going to get my butt kicked. Sometimes when I'm going against the opposition, I'm going to get my butt kicked. And that's okay. But I want to be in attack mode while I'm doing it because I want to give myself every opportunity to learn everything I possibly can about this awesome, and daunting situation. These impossible odds that I am attacking, I want to give myself every opportunity to learn everything I possibly can. And when I go soft, I don't learn as much. But when I go hard, I learn not only do I learn about the opposition, but I also learn about myself. I also get deeper in myself. I become more self-aware. Knowledge of self improves, it increases, it expands. And the last thing I want to do is I want to attack the process spiritually. I want to attack the process spiritually, meaning I don't want to attack it physically because I know that my body will give out. I don't want to attack it mentally because I know that my mind is really oftentimes playing tricks on me to prevent me from engaging in activities that might harm me, that make me hurt, that may make me feel pain, may make me feel shame, may be disappointing to me. So I have to attack the process spiritually. I have to figure out what does it feel like to attack the process. And once I figure out what it feels like, using my imagination as best as possible, using all my past experiences to figure out what is it going to feel like when I attack this process and conquer it. I have to feel it spiritually. If I can feel it beforehand, I give myself every opportunity to now attack the process and be successful at it. So those three things, number one, I got to compete with myself and only myself. I got to be intentional about my attack mode. And I'm constantly asking these two questions. How do I want to show up and how do I want to think about what it is I'm doing? I want to reclaim my power. I don't want the situation to determine my thought process or what I feel. I want to determine what I feel about what it is I'm doing and how I'm going to show up. I want to attack with intention. And the last thing is I want to attack this process spiritually first. So I want to make sure that I know what it feels like to attack the process. Right? Attack opportunity. And then I know that my mind and my body will follow my spirit. When I was in high school, I quit my basketball team my senior year. I was out shopping with my main man, Floyd. And I said, Floyd, if I'm done shopping at a certain time, then I go to the game. If I'm not done shopping, I'm gonna just keep doing it. I'm gonna keep shopping and I won't go to the game. And he laughed. He said, man, you silly. Kept shopping. Forget what time it was. And I said, okay, I'm not going to the game. Went back to school shortly thereafter. And my boy said, Coach, Marv, Coach said, put stick or fork in Fox. He's done. Graduated, went to college my first year. Still had friends on the basketball team. They didn't think any less of me, I don't think. But I always felt like I let myself down. I was making it in my mind, I was making it okay to quit. But deep down inside, I knew that there was something that made me a little undone, unpacked. And so I got an opportunity to go to Concordia University and got another opportunity to play basketball. And I told myself, no matter how tough it gets here, no matter how tough it gets, academically, socially, or athletically, I'm going to finish. I don't care how tough school gets. I don't care how tough my social life situation becomes. Because now I'm going from being in Detroit, where I'm a minority, so now I'm going to a private Lutheran conservative white institution, and I am one of maybe 5-10 black people in this institution where we're talking about faculty, staff members, or students. I'm one of 5. I'm one of 10. So no matter how tough it gets, I'm not leaving. And no matter how tough basketball gets, I'm not quitting. And I was like on this mission to prove to myself that I'm not a quitter. That's not my reputation. Fortunately for me, I was able to succeed and prove myself right, that I'm not a quitter. A lot of times people quit for years, or they quit for 10 days, and they think that on day 11, they can erase those other 10 days of quitting. You're 10 days in the negative. You're 9 days in the negative because on day 11, you decided to quit, but you're still 9-10 days in the negative, right? So how do you now erase those days? You got to at least go 10 more days of showing up. So you got 10 days where you did show up. Well, you got to go 10 more days of showing up. And then only at that point, you're still only breaking even. Someone can still look at your record and say, okay, 10 days they showed up, 10 days they didn't. We don't know what we get. Jacqueline Hyde? We don't know what we getting. We might get somebody who's all for it one day and the next day they're not. They're seasonal. So you're still the person that somebody can look and say, I don't depend on that person. That person's character is finicky. So now you got to go the 10 days to break even. And you got to go 10 more days for someone to even consider you as a person who's dependable. So for my life, I've been looking at it like this. I want to make sure that every time that I jump into a situation, I want to make sure that I give myself every chance to be successful, not only for now, but for the long term. So anytime that I get hit with an opportunity, I'm looking at it like this. I got to show up now so that I show up tomorrow. Because if I don't show up now, I'm probably not going to show up tomorrow. I need to show up now. I need to give it everything I got. I need to attack it. So even if I get my butt kicked, I'm still inspired, I'm still motivated, and I've still learned the lesson that's going to help me for tomorrow. Because tomorrow I might get my butt kicked, but if I keep on learning, if I keep on figuring this thing out, if I keep on taking these L's, these life learning lessons, and I keep compiling them, eventually I'm going to crack the code. And eventually somewhere down the line, I'm going to have a breakthrough. And so because of that, I make sure that every single opportunity that I get, I'm in attack mode, because I want my highlight reel to be full of moments of me succeeding or either failing, but fighting every step of the way. Because that is a highlight reel that I want people to see. That is a highlight reel that I can be proud of. That is a highlight reel that when I'm down and out, I can look at my highlight reel and say, man, I've had quite the career. I've had quite the narrative of awesome opportunities and awesome moments of me fighting. And because of that, I got a chance, not only today, but moving forward. So moving forward, make sure that you're always in attack mode when you watch your highlight reel. So that's it. I'm done. No longer am I in speaker mode. Now I'm in like just regular person mode. So that's kind of my process. I write it down. I meditate on it. I internalize it so that when I'm speaking it, if I need to go one way or the other, I can. I've tried to write my speeches out before, and it's bit me in the butt because I get so committed to reading it, and I see that the vibe is going a different way, that I can't deviate because I'm committed to what I wrote, right? And then I've tried to memorize speeches verbatim, but the second that I forget a word or two or a line or a concept, I'm in trouble. Or if I forget a transition. So what I've tried to do, or what I've worked to do, or what I do is I internalize my speeches so that I give myself an opportunity to improv or improvise. And I'm more, and then I allow my spirit and my instincts to do all the work versus allow my brain to do the work. I just allow my spirit and my instincts to kind of just take me wherever I need to go, because I know that deep down, because at the end of the day, I know what I want to talk about. And I know that whatever my instincts and whatever my spirit leads me, I'll be fine. It'll be good because the message is in me. I'll let the spirit and my instincts get it out of me. And I'll trust them that whatever my spirit and instincts bring out of me that's what the people needed to hear. So it's a lot of faith involved in that process. A lot of faith. But that's how I roll. So that's it, man. That's it. Looking to do some more interviews, and then looking to bring some more content, some different content moving forward in hopes that, it helps somebody. It helps somebody. Somebody, meaning that could be one person. Hopefully it helps somebody. And if I'm helping out one person, then I'm doing good. But I hope that because I'm fulfilling my God-ordained purpose, I'm helping many more. So with that being said, greatness lives on the edge of death. I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first. It springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. I am Marv Fox Jr. What is in your highlight reel? Done.